Hey, it's Cecil, and it's Saturday, and oh boy, grab a snack, grab some tea, because we are going to be here for a while. To be so honest, the tragic part is that I had kind of set up a little hill for this build, and it doesn't stay. I have to flatten the terrain because the stuff I wanted to do outside was bugging me too much. So there's a lot of finagling with tool and all of that I completely cut out. There's also a lot of finagling with the roof that I cut out. There's I cut out a lot and we still have like a 30-minute video, but it was a 45-minute video previously. So, you know. This is the house that in my save file I will actually be playing in, and it is the awaited Summer Holidays Kitchen Witch Cottage. Now, in order to understand why Summer Holiday in this save is a kitchen witch, we're gonna have to go back to the very beginning because I can't remember if I talked about it in the Liberty Lee build, but I know I didn't in the Travis Scott build. So let's get it down. First of all, the stuff that's definitely been mentioned in every single build. The in-game uh, explanation for Travis Scott, Liberty Lee, and Summer Holiday is that Summer and Liberty both have a crush on Travis. And some people have decided to turn that into thruple energy, and I love that. But I do love a little drama. So, in the way that I play, Summer has a crush on Liberty, who has a crush on Travis, who's a romantic. We covered all of that last week. Liberty Lee, disaster bisexual. Travis Scott, a a spec, a romantic person, and then we've got Summer Holiday, who I was just like really feeling lesbian. I can't quite explain it, but lesbian. So that's where we're at. And not just lesbian, but golden retriever lesbian. I mean, she's outgoing, cheerful, and oh gosh, what is her third trait? And active. There we go. So that's already big golden retriever energy, right? But we've also got the fact that she's like just I don't know. She's just so the way she's so cute. Like she's got a vibe about her. And so that is what I decided. And what any golden retriever of a person needs is a goth girlfriend. So the whole save file started because I made Summer a goth girlfriend. And then, around the time that this was happening, two very important contexts. Number one, it was last year, right before Life and Death was about to come out. And number two is that it was, I had just seen a post about a, like, goth person living across the street from, like, a really colorful garden pastel kind of person, and the the pastel colorful person is a witch, but whenever people go to that area looking for a witch, they always assume it's the goth. That's kind of the energy that I wanted to bring to them. So that's that's the context for much of this build. But first of all, I just want you to know that this bit of stair finagling and the floor plan and stuff, I cut most of it out. I hate to say it, but I did cut most of this out as well, and it didn't even matter because it's still so long. Yeah, there were a lot of points where I was just like, what am I even doing? What is the goal, you know? Trying to figure out I really wanted there to be dormers. I really wanted there to be functional space in those dormers for a second floor. It was just it was a pain to figure out, but this is about the point where the floor plan does come together. So, I am happy with that. There is a lot of enchanted by nature, a lot of cottage living, but there's also a lot of crystal creations and realm of magic. So we've got, I mean, there's a lot of packs. There's custom content in this build. It's a build that I plan on playing. So, you know. Um, but yeah, the kitchen is obviously the most important part because kitchen witch, like it's in the name. You got to prioritize it. So that was a big focus. There's a lot of like running through swatches specifically in the kitchen that I had cut out because I knew I was going to drive myself crazy. Um so that's yeah. And then when I was finishing up the build, I realized I'd forgotten to put the custom content back into the folder before I started. So there, some of the stuff that's there in the beginning isn't there in the end, and we have to go back. It's not. It's seriously a single thing. Actually, I don't know why I'm making it sound like a lot. It was one thing. It's just the cauldron from Spinning Plum Bob's Fairies versus Witches. Um, because that is the kind of witch that I have Summer as right now. I might either switch her to being a spellcaster or do a I almost said multi-class, but I think the Sims word for that would be hybrid between a witch and a spellcaster, which I know Spinning Plum Bob made possible with his mods. So that would be wonderful. But oh, anyways, goodness gracious. Yeah. So with all of these little inspirations in mind, the story began to form. So I had my sim, whose name is Raven. I had Raven move in across the street, and they live in a super goth looking house right now. And uh, I decided that I wanted them to be in the or like to be working towards the gemology aspiration, which I enjoyed actually. I would say of all the new aspirations, that one felt okay. It felt like it wasn't super easy. It took work to achieve, but it also wasn't just a tutorial, you know. So that was nice. And then I had them living in a haunted house. um, so we did the haunted house challenge, and then from there they got their paranormal investigator license. They played that career for a while. In the midst of all of this, they meet Summer. They fall in love. The two of them autonomously flirted with each other so fast. It was wonderful. Raven did not have a dang clue that Summer was flirting with them, which was very funny. Um, but it worked out in the end, and now they're married, and we love that. So this is a house that they will move into. Being a paranormal investigator for as long as Raven was, they've come out of it a bit paranoid, one might say. And I kept, whenever I got that self discovery moment, I kept saying no because I was like, "You're not paranoid. Your house is haunted." Like, yeah, but it just kept happening, and I'm like, you know what? Yeah, you can be a little paranoid as a treat. So I made sure to give them a basement because if you didn't know, so paranoid is a trait from Strangerville, and paranoid Sims, they love a basement. So I was like, we gotta include a basement for Raven to feel safe and secure. So that is what we did. Um, and they have quit their job. They're now working in the Undertaker career. Because at first I was going to do the active career, but I've actually played the Reaper career a lot. So now I just have them in the Undertaker career. I feel like it's nice, it's chill, it's a little less intense with the spooky, scary stuff, but it's still like got their vibe. So they seem to be enjoying that. Um, and that's currently where they're at with that one. Which I big fan of how that's going for them. They sell their jewelry and gemstones on the side. And I have a feeling that either Summer or Raven is going to get super into the apothecary skill. Um, and it's probably going to be Summer, but they might both, to be honest. Like, I don't know. I haven't played with them in a little bit because I've been waiting to finish building these houses, so, you know, we will see. I definitely wanted to make sure I could fit that flower press somewhere, but it took me some time to get that. But here is a cute little office space. It feels like mostly naturey, but there's like also the functionality of having a computer. I was originally going to build it off the grid, but honestly, I've been having some problems playing off the grid recently where it feels like even though I'm supposed to have a surplus, it feels like running any electronic just immediately shuts everything back off. Don't know if that's a bug. Don't even know if it was mentioned in a bug fix report. Um, so I was like, you know what? We're not going to play off the grid. We're not going to worry about that. I did still include some eco lifestyle items, um, but it's not the full source of the power, you know. Um, Here I am finagling a bit with Tool and the landscaping, and I did even more, and I cut it out because I didn't keep any of it. But shout out to Twisted Mexi, who at time of recording has just recently updated the tool mod for the pre-adventure awaits pack or patch. There we go. Also, oh gosh, about that, there's a this is other than kits the fifth consecutive $40 DLC for this game. How we feeling? Because I felt physically ill when they announced that. I was like, I haven't even finished digesting Enchanted by Nature, and you're trying to give me this? Why? Why? Um, so that's what it is. It's coming. But I think that a lot of the community appeared to have that reaction based on the fact that they, number one, moved the patch early, and number two, they still have not posted the roadmap that they'd accidentally leaked because it seems like they're maybe changing things around and seeing if we even will spend money. I think the way that the pre-sale goes for like the pre-sale and early access sale stuff goes for Adventure Awaits is going to really determine how they go about things over the next uh, foreseeable future. Because right now, everyone's kind of exhausted because our save files are dissolving and every fix brings more bugs. And yes, you know, from a technical perspective, and as somebody who knows a thing or two about coding, I get it. And that's just the way that technology is. I also understand that there is simply no way to playtest every single possible way and discover every single bug before release. But the issue is they've released almost $200 of DLC this year, and the game is broken, you know? I have I have hundreds of mods, and some of them are, you know, like fairies versus witches or whatever. Some of them are fun feature mods, but a lot of them are bug fix mods. And it shouldn't be like that. It shouldn't have to be like that. And it's especially not fair to console players who don't even have that as an option. So, you know, um so that's part of it. um And I think that at any other time, I would have actually been pretty excited for this pack. It does look like it's my play style. I love that you can set something up to be like a routine getaway where it can like reoccur every week. That is something that I will definitely get a lot of use out of because I like doing that, but then I lose track of the day of the week for my Sims, and so it's nice to be able to do that. Um, and just have that built in. That looks great. I love the idea of custom venues. I feel like, however, we've got we've got an overlap with the two packs that have already come out this year, which is one thing, right? You've got the overlap with small businesses in a sense, from businesses and hobbies, where I think the greatest appeal for businesses and hobbies was the sort of customization of venues, venue activities, and behaviors. But the downside to that was the fact that a sim had to own it. The activities don't carry over into the gallery, so you always have to reset it up anytime that the owner dies or moves out, and for some reason, and weird things happen or whatever. There's a lot. People wanted it to have hotel functionality. It just really didn't. This pack, they're talking about sort of all of the things that were left wanting, from businesses and hobbies, um, to an extreme. I know I've seen a few people say, "Oh, there's where all of the hobbies went from businesses and hobbies," and it's like, yeah. Um, Shout out to German for having the pack be named more like, turn your business in or turn your hobbies into a business, because that is a name that accurately describes the pack. But, you know, I don't know. It's a lot. It's a lot. I think they're aware of what the community wants and needs. And I also want to be clear that EA wanting to make money is one thing. The Sims team, you can see just in the fun, silly goofs of the content that we get, the Sims team wants to give us a good game. And you can feel that. You can feel the passion in the work. So I I'm glad that the community response has finally been enough to kind of push EA into giving them the resources they need to dedicate to fixing things. I hope this isn't temporary. I hope that it's not like, oh, okay, we've got stuff back to a point where people are comfortable spending money on this game again. We don't have to do anything for it anymore. But, like, I don't know. Do I have faith in that being how it goes? Not really. So, capitalism. Um, there is so much jumping around just throughout this entire build. I decided I wanted a greenhouse. Shortly, I'm going to be like, oh, you know what? I want an outdoor kitchen as well, because more kitchen. Um, I also add a little like shop stand. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to have that run as a small business or if I'm just going to have it be like, yard sales. But basically, I just want there to be an option for Summer to sell her cooking and Raven to sell their creations. They do jewelry making, but they also do some flower arranging and, woodworking as well, which is why I gave them their little workshop down in the, basement, which is so cute, by the way. And we'll take some time. I'll explain the build probably tomorrow because, there's just I've needed to take the editing in pieces for this one because it's really long. And like I can maybe yap for 30 minutes, but can I also then yap for the extra time that it takes to explain what's going on? Probably not. So, we're breaking it up. I really wanted to use that tile backsplash from Enchanted by Nature, and I did find a way to make it work. Um, it just took some finagling to feel like, okay, yeah, that looks right. Um, I think with the other tile backsplash behind it, it's a bit redundant, but it was the only way that it felt like it was, I wish that it, but then that's also just the archway that I'm using. And, anyways, yeah. So, right now we're going in, we're adding feature walls. I love me a feature wall. Look at all these walls that I'm featuring. um, and then Summer's little witchy area, you can we've still got the cauldron at this moment. It will disappear soon. We're getting in the rugs. We're cluttering it up. We are adding the little touches, and I'm like, I'm gonna be done with this build so soon. And then I decided I want an outdoor kitchen, and then it just kept going. Because yes, I play with Travis and Liberty, but it's different when one of them is married to a sim that I made, you know? And the fact that I made this sim for summer holiday, it's different. Um, but I gave a couple more appliances. I gave them a grill. Raven's super into grilling. Um, but obviously, Summer can benefit from it as well. And then I squeezed a bar into that area. And again, the terrain is going to get flattened because at first I was like, oh, is this even going to function with the terrain all wonky? And the answer is it didn't. It didn't look like it would. And maybe it would have, and maybe it would have been fine, but it looked weird. The stools were either floating or like clipping into the terrain, and it wasn't working. So, and I think once I moved them with tool, I worry about whether or not they counted as still being there. But yeah, so I put the small business thing there, and we will see if I actually end up using it. I felt like such a genius putting these ball lights on the balls on the like fence posts. I still feel kind of like a genius. I really popped off there. And at this point, I remembered to put a trash can because I had forgotten about garbage, as one does. And then that failure with those stairs, that was what made me flatten the terrain. But hey, let's do some landscaping. So, the tragic thing about having a vision and then having to delete it is that, yeah, there was some stuff in the build that I showed you the creation of, but not the deleting of. And then there's also just like a sizable 10 minutes of building that was fully cut out just because it was a bunch of stuff that wasn't going to be in the end. So that's, you know. Um, oh, and okay, this is brain. I've been having this issue whenever I make a custom pond, and I've had this issue since the feature came out, where even though I stock the pond with fish, can never get my sim to fish in it. Like, it always says needs to be stocked. And I think I figured out the two parts of that problem, which appears to be you you can't, number one, don't have move objects on when you're putting the sign in the pond. So turn off move objects. If you're using tool, that's super easy, just untick it, and then see where it places green in the water because it will only let you put it in fishable water. And then make sure that the like plants and decoration in the water, make sure that that doesn't intersect with the sign too much. Don't overdo it with the pond, and then it should be functional. I haven't tested it. I might be totally wrong, but that is the advice that I've heard, and I'm hoping it will work out. This little area is just for when Summer is selling food, for people to grab a bite. And then I also put a gate behind the little sale area just so that like randos don't walk into our like main property, because like the last thing you want to do is sell Nina Caliente a hot dog and then she's eating her hot dog and dripping mustard all over your computer keyboard. So you know how Sims are. Or like someone's having a bad day and they knock over your trash can and it's like, dude, I am simply Because if I go the yard sale route, that's how that'll go. And also, outdoor spaces can't, like, if it's a room, it can be set as business or residential. But if it is, oh my god, brain. But if it's just terrain and it doesn't count as a room, you can't tell them, hey, don't go there. So they will go there. What can you do? Uh, but yeah, we are so close to the end. At this point, I'm getting some of the eco lifestyle stuff in there and changing my mind as I am wont to do. I do feel very happy with how it turned out. I spent so long on this, but like it took me, I think, oh gosh. I mean, I was expecting to have it up literally the week after the Travis build, and now it's more like a month after Travis's build. So calculate that as you will. It was a while. Uh, so that was, yeah. Oh, this is the point where I realized that I forgot the cauldron. Because I was looking for the altar. Don't worry, both of those are put back in for the final version. But that's, yeah. Oh, I was also super excited to use the tabletop planters for like having a little bit of basil and stuff in the kitchen. I've been excited about that. I think that's so cute. I was a little bit nervous of using it because I know during early access people were saying that it was a little bit buggy. I guess this is the point where I'm going to change all of the lights. People were saying it was a little bit buggy in early access, so I was worried about that. Um, but I think it ended up being okay once the pack actually released or after one of the hotfix patches. I don't fully remember. So I think it's actually okay. And that I can use it, but we will see. Um I did decide to do some off the grid lighting just to also help with the bills and with our windmills actually doing something. Um, I think I considered a fireplace. I don't think. No, I put in a little one. Perhaps. Perhaps? Yeah, I put in that little one. I remember this. I literally finished this build like 4 days ago. I should not be this. Yeah. And I sized that lamp down on purpose. I like the floating crystals. I didn't want the base to be so big. So I'm just like, extra magic looking. I mean, it was already a little magical. Now it's super magical. I'm getting in some more stuff for Raven to display all of their crystal creations, if you will. Let's see what I. Also, I'm sorry that the light is going weird because first of all, a storm is about to blow in, and second of all, window. And I usually like to put a blanket over it, but as you can see, there is a cat there. And if I put a blanket over the window while the cat is laying there, she will freak out. So, because my cats are not cuddly. They're borderline feral, were it not for the fact that they would hate living outside. Like, they were strays. We brought them in, and while they do not do the snuggles, they're like, I love it here. I love soft furniture. I love the food. I love the indoor climate control. Big fan of that. Please never take it away from me. Anyways, let's take a moment and hop inside the build. Future Cecil, I leave it to you.
Hello and thank you, Past Cecil. Let's take a look at the build. So, for Summer Holidays Cottage, I wanted to get a lot of greenery. I didn't want it to be like too cluttered, but I did use a lot of these like big debug flower pieces as well as these big debug grassy bits to give it that, a nice naturey vibe. We've got a pond, we can fish in it. So that's very nice. And then first thing that you get to enter the lot is this sort of shop setup. I haven't decided if I'm gonna keep the small business thing or not. Like, it's fine, but it's not necessary because we have the selling table and you can just hold yard sales and that's fine. But either way, the point is for Summer and Raven to be able to sell the little things and stuffs that they make. For Summer, that would be food. For Raven, that will be the jewelries. And then through this gate, it's a bit convoluted to get in here, but that's okay because the only person who has to really be annoyed about that is me. We go through this gate and we have this little outdoor patio area for hosting friends, accompanied by an outdoor kitchen because, of course, the build needs two kitchens. It's a kitchen witch cottage. That's the point. And I used this bar from Wedding Stories with the bar stools from Enchanted by Nature. I used this grill from the Desert Lux kit and then the counters from Enchanted by Nature, which I'm kind of impressed with how well they go together. And then we've got the pizza oven and the pressure cooker and a little outdoor sink. And then I also tediously put fairy lights around the whole perimeter of the building, and I did that for all of the outside buildings, and honestly, it's so cute. It was worth doing. We've got a little garden space over here for growing ingredients for the cooking. Let's head inside. So, the first room is the mud room, and the day I started building this was in fact the day that the Grange mudroom kit came out, and it shows because I used pretty much every item from that kit in this room. So we've got this little storage area with the little shoe sign over here. We got a place to take off your shoes over here, and we got the little clutter. I took this set of bags from the everyday clutter kit and I placed it so that it looks like it's also hanging off of there. We've got the little shelf. We got some magazines and stuff. So yeah, very detailed mudroom by nature of the kit that came out. And then the kitchen is actually pretty small, but it's completely functional. I mean, these two counters can be cooked at, so I squeezed in as much clutter as physically possible. I used the Enchanted by Nature counters, and then the upper cabinets are from Cottage Living. And then I also made use of the mosaic tile backsplash from Enchanted by Nature. So we got these little moths with the vines. We got the stand mixer. We've got one of the tabletop plants. We've got the decorative herbs from the kitchen clutter kit, and a little tea set. We've also got the hanging herbs, and then, of course, squeezed in more clutter on this little cabinet shelf. None of it actually slotted, so I did have to raise it all up with the 9 key, but it looks fine. So, we got the aprons. All in all, I really do like this kitchen. It's small, it works, and it's cute. I think those are the things that matter the most. And then if we go in here, we've got living room, and over here we've got this little display case, I believe is from Realm of Magic, and it can hold like the collectibles, I believe, from Realm of Magic. But I don't know. I haven't actually, for how much I play with spellcasters, I haven't actually played that much with any of the collections. But that's, we got this little seating area. This is from the Blooming Rooms kit because I feel like kitchen and garden are they're intertwined. They go together. We've got more of the tabletop plants. We've got a tarot deck because I feel like Summer's wife is probably super into tarot. And then we've also got this apothecary stand over here. And then we go in here and we have the dining room. And also a second mudroom area. I'm sorry, the kit came out the day that I started this build. I had to use it. It's just nice. I just like it. So we've got a bunch of laundry stuff because when you walk out the back door, we have the little laundry area. So we've got some clutter for that, and we've got the outdoor wash basket, and then we've got a couple of hanging places. We've also got some eco lifestyle stuff. The lot itself isn't off the grid, but anything to help be as much off the grid as possible is always nice. And then we've got a downstairs bathroom with just a shower, toilet, and sink. And then obviously it is decorated and cluttered to heck because this build definitely has probably the most clutter out of the three builds. Again, this is the house that I'm going to be playing in the most because Raven is my sim. So, and then down here we've got Raven's little paranoid space, and we have some areas for them to put all of their jewelry. We've got some games around. We've got this cute little crystal plant terrarium. And we also have just some like utility stuff. So there's this carpenter caddy from the workshop kit, and we have more restoration workshop stuff because I like it. It has the vibes, and I feel like Raven has been super into handiness lately, so having a little area is always nice. The water heater and the fuse box. We got lots of tools and just storage for doing the crafting. And then we've got the downstairs bathroom, just a half bath, so just a toilet and a sink, and then this cabinet, which I believe functions as a dresser. Don't quote me on that, because I haven't actually played in any house that I've used the Grange mudroom in, but I think because it'll show up when you click on dressers. So that's nice. And then we've got where they keep all of the extra toilet paper rolls, as well as where they keep some of the spare towels, because I feel like, out of the way in the basement is nice. Toilet paper rolls maybe less so. That might be if you're on the second floor bathroom and you're out of toilet paper, having to go all of the way downstairs, that would be deeply unfortunate. Luckily, it's The Sims, and the toilet paper doesn't matter. And then we go upstairs, which I had to cut out the most of because I redid the floor plan and even just the shape of the upstairs so many times. We get up here, and we have this craft space. Here we have this nifty knitting craft storage cabinet, and I slotted some of the stuff from the gemology skill onto it. So we've got the jeweler's tray and the gemologist field kit, and we've got gemologist field box. We've got the candle making station, and of course Raven's jewelry making station with a bunch of like info about crystals over here. Yeah, and then into this room we've got the little office. We've got a bookshelf, and we've got an apothecary storage cabinet. We've got a little computer. We have some more crafty shelving, and then we've got an easel because it fit, and the both of them paint. I would say they will benefit from having an easel. It's also just good to have easels in games. And then this is Summer's little potion. Oh gosh, it's like apothecary, but it's a different word. Alchemy. There we go. Alchemy station. And we've got some little potion signs over here. So we've got like different creatures and different flowers and different just potion bottles. This is decorative storage to continue giving the vibe. I sized this rug down, and then this cauldron is actually custom content from Spinning Plum Bob's Fairies vs. Witches pack, because Summer is at this moment not a spellcaster. She is a witch, which I think I talked about in the original voiceover. But to be so honest, I was yapping for 30 minutes straight, so I'm not going to pretend like I remember at all. And then we go in here, and we have Summer and Raven's bedroom. We've got this cute little vanity. I slotted this little candle. I think it's from the Book Nook kit, as well as some more of the jewelry trays. We got more moon stuff. There's a lot of moon and a lot of jewelry and a lot of outside, and I feel like that encompasses their marriage quite well. Got more of that, and then I used the Enchanted by Nature bed. We've got this blast off alarm clock. It's just my favorite. I just like it a lot. And then we've got their bathroom, which more towels and all of that. We've got I set up the gosh, what do you call it? The little shelf. I don't know why I forgot the word shelf. To have some bath clutter on it because it should. I mean, don't quote me on it because again, I haven't play tested this build. That'll be for when I'm actually playing. I'm also not sharing these to the gallery because they are like personal gameplay and I don't know how, like, they're so specific. I don't know. Let me know if I should share them anyways. But I'm pretty sure it'll function with having, I see people do trays all the time. So I used this from the sleek bathroom kit to just give the vibe of having a little bath tray because that's a thing that people do. And then finally we've got the guest room, just a simple bed, nightstands, and dresser, but I also squeezed in an extra desk so that I had a dedicated place to put the nature press, which I haven't actually used because it requires, items to press. But I have seen what all of the nature press stuff looks like, and it's so pretty. So I wanted to have a place to put it because it's so nice. I love being able to make some things. And that covers it. This is what it looks like at nighttime with all of the lights lit up outside. I'm very I'm very happy with it. All of the light placing was super tedious for the outdoors and so incredibly worth it. I am excited to finally get back to playing with my little guys in this save file and enjoying the builds that I've made for them. So, yeah, thank you so much for watching. This has been lengthy. Recording a tour has added significantly to the length of the video because it's big and I had to explain it. But hey, if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you got to this point, tell me what. Ah, geez, I don't even know. Comment below if you would like me to actually share these to the gallery, I guess. You can follow me in the links in the description box below. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, everybody.